Hi, I'm Andy Ice from The Mosh Pit, and welcome to Savage Messiah. That's my phone, I do apologise.
That's all right.
That'll be my wife checking up on me. Have you not finished yet?
You're with the band. Okay.
I'll
With
put that
the band.
there. So, just arrived.
Yes.
Hectic to get here?
Yeah, a bit of a drive. Was it about 7 hours?
Well, I just felt sick because we were driving through all these little windy roads and I was getting thrown about. And it was like,
Yeah, I had a headache all the way here, but a couple of tablets and a couple of bottles of
Crafty beer.
but all good for the most part.
Good, good. Now on stage in a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Always.
Yeah, it's going to be killer, man. We always have a really good time at Hammerfest as well, so
Yeah.
coming back's always really, really cool.
Just feels like home to you guys then by now.
Yeah, well, we've played it the last couple of years in a row. So this is our third year in a row, is it?
Yes, it is. It's our fourth Hammerfest, and which is not bad out of 6. So that's pretty cool.
So does that mean you played the Prestatyn venue before it transferred?
Twice, 2010 and then 2012.
12, 13 and this year.
When last time we played there, we were on at like 3 o'clock in the morning or close to that time, maybe 2, I don't remember.
So how does this venue compare with the last venue?
It's really comparable, man. It's almost very similar.
Really?
Yeah, in terms of like the actual stage and everything. I don't know too much about the facilities because we didn't really get to stay last year, so I didn't get to see any bands. So I don't know. The last one was really killer though, the way like with the big arena kind of thing and the metal market. But I remember last year there was a cool metal market.
There is here, which you'll when you get a chance to go and have a look round.
I don't know. No earache store this year.
Well, you can't have everything.
No.
Let's be honest, you can't have everything without getting too much bother. Now let's talk about your album. Is there any track for people that might not have heard of you that would epitomise you guys?
Well, I don't know, you might disagree, but I would say Minority of One for 2 reasons. One, because musically it's quite representative because it's like thrash and melodic heavy metal kind of fused together, so there's that aspect to it. But I would also say that it sums us up because when we took it to the studio, it was completely different. And Scott Atkins, the producer of the record, was like, it's a bit stark, I don't like that, but the chorus is good and some of the solos, so have you got anything else? And we were like, alright, a bit of a panic moment, and we ended up coming up with the song as it was, more or less on the spot. We had they were all old ideas that we sort of, hadn't quite finished, and we dropped them, and for whatever reason we dropped them. But that kind of epitomises Savage Messiah in many ways. We stumble into things and
Panic.
And it just happens to work.
in that instance, it did.
Because we was almost on the brink of just dropping the song completely.
Yeah, I mean, I was panicked. It was like,
we didn't know the song. What were we going to do? Scott was like, that Minority One, the chorus is really good. It's just you need to work on it. And we was all getting a bit like, oh god, let's just
drop it.
Let's drop it.
Well, actually, we had 2 options apart from sort of what we ended up doing with it. We could have dropped it, or Scott was like, 'cause obviously 9 tracks on the record, it would have cut the running time down, quite a bit. And you always wanted 10 tracks is about standard for an album, 5A, 5B. You can get away with 8 or 9, you can do it, but 10 tracks is solid,
Yeah.
If you want to give people value for money and all that kind of thing. So he said, well, we could record it as it is, and that would have been the easy way out. But I'm really glad that he pushed us and said, to come up with something a lot better, because we had a lot better ideas, and it came out really killer.
So as you say, with the album, the way, especially that track in particular, how it just kind of just evolved and just happened spur of the moment.
Yeah, that's how it was.
Is that how you normally find your live performances tend to go? Or do you try and make things a bit more scheduled?
It's hard to say really, because as a live band we've spent a lot of years really trying to be very objective with what we do and critique it, and try and improve it. And so I mean, it's spontaneous in the sense that we don't choreograph our moves, and it's not like, hey, maybe Joff, if you could do that. It's not like that contrived or anything, but in terms of trying to be in control of the actual performance and the delivery and stuff, that we don't leave too many things to chance there. It's honed and worked on, and we do a lot of practice individually and together as a band. So, spontaneity in terms of actually playing our instruments, less so.
Right.
I think that could be dangerous.
It's sort of halfway through a song, I just bust into a solo and everyone just stops like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it wouldn't be ideal.
Yeah, none of that.
No.
Yeah, it wouldn't be ideal.
So obviously, we're going from live to studio production. Do you guys normally play together when you're recording songs live, or do you kind of build it up from the bass upwards?
Well, this time we did that. Our last 2 records, they didn't work out like that.
Right.
But I mean, Joff actually came into the band with Plague of Conscience when all the songs were pretty much done. So I ended up doing pretty much all the guitars on my own, except he came in and did all these solos and stuff like that. But that was not how we don't like to work like that. So
No.
with this record, we had a band, we had a solid lineup. So it was a case of really, let's record it live in the studio basically. At least to get the bones of the tracks, to get the drums and stuff. It was all in the room, with the vibe.
For me, it's how most albums should be recorded, because it's you putting you getting your energy through. Because some tracks,
you've got to capture the vibe. Like when you listen to something like Number of the Beast or something like that, you can really hear a band that really mean it, sort of thing. And you can only get that one way, just tracking together. They probably got in and done obviously like guitars and bass and stuff afterwards, but just to capture that essence, you've got to do a lot of recording with the drums.
Yeah, it's really important, because otherwise what you end up in a situation whereby the song gets constructed, but yet none of the members have actually played together at the same time. And so it can come across very clinical in that sense. So if you have, it does change it, and it's not something that you can really put your finger on, like why and how.
Yeah.
But it does give it something, and I remember Scott saying they did that with the Am on a Mark album that he did with Andy Sneap, and when they came to do the mix, it gave it something else, an extra dimension. But one other thing that we did on this record, which we'd never attempted to do, we've never really been able to do, was, and it's quite rare in general for metal albums, is both me and Joff did an equal amount of guitars. So he would record a riff, and then he'd track it, so play it, so you get 2 tracks, and then I'd play the same riff, and track it again. So we end up with 4 guitars, which is very thick.
Yeah.
But that's really unusual with a lot of metal bands nowadays. I mean, even like the classic Metallica albums and stuff, the rhythms, you're only listening to James Hetfield, whereas with this record, we wanted that kind of, it gives it that, again, it's all about energy, you have 2 guitar players, you have 2 styles, and we're very matched anyway, so you would never, no one in a million years, if you played his riff and my riff and said who's, you'd have to have an extremely tuned ear to be able to say, that one was Joff or whatever.
But again, like with tracking guitars that way, I mean, I'm really into using a lot of like different voicings of chords over the top of what they would be doing. So in something like, say, the track The Faithful Dark, there's a couple of other guitar parts on top of the tracked rhythm parts and all that just make it sound that little bit bigger, and it builds the track up into something a little bit more interesting. Just switches your ear on a little bit, even parts that aren't too prominent, stuff like that, it just add an extra dimension to the sound.
Going through the tracking and everything, when I learned the guitar, I just taught myself. When you learn your instrument, have you all learn like the scales and how things like that? Because for me, it was just kind of something when you're learning a solo, you just, what feels right. How your backing track, you're just playing over the top and it just feels right. But more I speak to bands, some go, oh yeah, I've all these lessons and learn it that way, and then some go, no, you just play as you feel.
It sure is, man. It's the most important thing. I mean, I went to the ACM in Guildford and studied there for a year. Yeah. But I had some sort of basic knowledge of scales and chords and modes and this, that, and the other when I went. And what it did is it, more than teaching me how to do it or what's what, it put names to things I already knew. So it was sort of like, right, I see. So this is this and that's that. Right, so if I do this, over the top of this and stuff like that, it added another level to the sort of stuff.
So it enhances the way you can progress through.
And I'll just take the stuff home that I learnt there and just go and thrash it out in my bedroom like I normally would do and come out with your own style. Otherwise you'll just get schools and schools of people leaving all sounding the same. You know, you've got to do your own thing with it.
I think it's quite indicative to the overall sound of our new album in the sense that, I mean, I do know all that stuff, the theory stuff, and you know, but I only really employ it when I'm working on guitar solos, when I'm coming up with riffs.
Right.
I don't think about that. I'm not interested. But at the same time, like Joff is very much more the kind of the musician, so I can come up with all these ideas, and what he was able to do is streamline them, make them more musical, make them like more in keeping with, that chord isn't the right chord there, if it was this, and then you go, yeah, that's what I heard in my head.
So, method to the madness.
Yeah, so I bring the madness, and he just like sorts it all out. But that,
like, whoa there, Dave, come on, you're getting carried away again.
But that's really given a cohesion to the new album. It was the writing together, and. It's, in my mind at least, it's the big difference between Plague of Conscience and our new album is that Plague of Conscience is like, 100% me on my own, and then that's why it's very eclectic. It's a bit mad, really. Whereas this one is way more like focused and honed in, and that's just because of the stability, the strong writing partnership that we've built, and look forward to making a new record. We both agree we got a better record in. It's like, I know we have.
Yeah.
Totally,
The next question, tomorrow, acoustic set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it? Is it something you like doing, just kind of stripping things back? Or?
Yeah, it should be fun. I mean, it'd be the first time that we've done anything like that.
It won't be the first time.
Well, no, you've done stuff.
No. I mean, it'll be the first time we're going to speak of.
Oh God! Yeah.
Oh right. Was it one of those? The time that we shall not speak.
This is quite a good story actually. My girlfriend works at a little bar just up on Archway Road in London where we live, called the Caparina, and we normally retire there after rehearsal because we get plied with free drinks and stuff, whatever. And there was an occasion where a band, because they have live music, but it's like soul and funk and pop and that kind of stuff. And there was an occasion when the band wouldn't play. Like they I don't know what it was. It was a problem with the band. They wouldn't play. They left. And my girlfriend came. We were all sitting there, and she said, "Look, can you do me a big favour? Can you guys get up and do a set?" And I'm like, well, first actually I was like, yeah, we'll do it. And these guys were like, no. I was like, no way.
Yeah.
But we ended up saying, well, let's do some Iron Maiden songs. We'll slow them down. We'll make them a bit bluesy or whatever. So that was the plan. And I don't think Andrea, our drummer, got the message because
He's just sort of like,
he got up on this little kit.
Yeah. It's like, what
We
are you doing?
didn't know the songs. Yeah, so he's kind of. I had my enduring memory of that is me. I was just singing, just prancing around like a fucking idiot, and he sat there with the guitar with his hair
Over his face, just
over
pure,
his face,
pure
strumming an E minor chord, just like get me the hell out of it. And we thought at the end, like, oh well, who cares? There's like no one there anyway. And then we noticed standing in the corner was the actor Craig Charles. The guy who was in Red Dwarf, and we were like, wow.
But he cleared off, like, say to the doorman on his way out, like, that's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life, like, ever.
No wonder the embarrassment. Yeah.
Of all the nights to get up and make complete dicks of ourselves, we do it with Craig Charles as our, one of only 10 people in the audience. So.
But then again, as he does a funk show,
you
just know you're not going to be played on the funk show.
It's just so funny because he must have just thought, like, who the hell?
Who's booked these?
Yeah. But that was our one and only attempt, foray.
So it could be an interesting experience.
Could be.
Now,
I'd say it would be worth it.
It'd be worth coming and have a watch. It'd be really good fun.
So basically, get all the interviews done before this acoustic set, and so whatever happens after acoustic set, if it doesn't go well, you can just go.
Yeah, you'll never see or hear of this acoustics having.
Well, I'm sure I will find out because I'm actually here tomorrow.
Okay.
Because my wife's got a baby scan, so I'm going to go and do the family thing tomorrow. And be back on
Congratulations,
Saturday.
man.
So we'll find out on Saturday how it went, your acoustic set.
Yeah, it'll be alright. We've actually rehearsed this one.
Yeah.
We've got some tunes.
But
it's always best to be modest, though.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on, guys. Enjoy your set tonight. Enjoy the acoustic set, and we'll catch up soon.
Yeah, man. Sweet.
So, thank you.